Good morning, everybody. This is Lucien Smith in for Paul Gallo here on the Gallo Radio Show on Super Talk, Mississippi. We've got with us on the line the one and only Congressman Trent Kelly. How you doing this morning, Congressman?
Good morning, Lucien. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for being on with us.
Yes, sir. This is the opening day of the Neshoba County Fair, and I grew up less than 5 miles from there, so getting ready to head down sometime this afternoon and go to my probably like 58th one. I don't know, however old I am. I don't remember. I was so young when I went the first time.
I didn't realize that's where you were from, that area, Congressman.
Grew up less than 5 miles from there. It was part of my life.
It's such a special place and such a unique piece of Americana that's just ours. It's one of my favorite things to do every year.
Absolutely, but I know that's not you. You got plenty of people to talk about that. I know we got a lot to talk about here today, Lucien.
Tell me, I want to get to everything in D.C., but I'd like to start with the Republican National Convention. I assume you were a delegate and up in Milwaukee for it.
Absolutely, man. It was electric. I've not seen us that unified. I remember the 84 and 88 ones, but it has to be as unified as we are as a party since going back to Reagan and his term. So it was just electric, great policies, great speakers, and just, listen, we were talking about what we're going to do, not about the other folks, and I think that's so important. People are so tired of all this rhetoric. What they want to hear is, what are we going to do for the American people? And
Amen.
We've already seen what Donald Trump's going to do. He's going to make us a much better, safer, richer, everybody does better place to live.
I think that's right, and I think you're also right. If we can keep our message between now and November being about the things we're going to do, we're going to win, because what Republicans do, what we say we are going to do, is what Americans want to have happen at the federal level.
Absolutely. I mean, when you talk about it, look at the border. Border under Trump, the safest border we've had in years, to the most people we've ever had come through. We got foreign terrorists that we know coming through, people on terrorist watch lists, people coming through by the millions, with no checks and balances whatsoever. If you want to talk about the economy, we were exporting fossil fuels again. We were a powerhouse in the energy section, which made business better. And the first thing they did is shut down the pipeline, let Russia create theirs, which is funding the war in Ukraine. They want to talk about we're not sending any aid, but they're actually funding it because they will not let us produce our American energy. I mean, on and on and on. Policing, you go from them supporting everything in the world that has to do with defund the police or shut down the police or let everybody out of jail, even violent people, because they've been so abused, to we believe in protecting our citizens and the innocent, and fair trials for those who were charged with criminal attempts. But once they're charged and once they're convicted, then they got to serve. So it's on and on and on, Lucien.
It's been really interesting how many, what I think of as sort of left-leaning business people, Elon Musk, a lot of Silicon Valley types, who I'm confident voted for Biden. A lot of them we know donated money to Biden 4 years ago, who've now come out and said that they're supporting Trump, and that they're, I think Elon Musk has pledged maybe $40 million a month to a super PAC to help get Republicans out to vote for Trump. Really speaks to exactly what you're saying, is just how badly run the country has been under President Biden and Vice President Harris.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even talking about inflation yet. Just remember this. Kamala Harris, she was the deciding vote in a 50-50 Senate. She came in and passed the Inflation Creation Act, which we have had record inflation. They like to name stuff the opposite of what it is, but you just tell me your groceries are cheaper today than before that act. You tell me gas is cheaper than it was for that act. You tell me your energy prices are cheaper. Listen, you can't afford to go to the grocery store. Things cost 3 times as much, it seems, and people can't afford to live. She was the deciding vote in what caused that. And so that's one of the things I look at, Lucien, is when she has, and just look at the meeting yesterday with Netanyahu. 3 hours with President Biden, supposed to meet 3 hours or 2 hours with President Trump today. 40 minutes with her, and she comes out of there saying ceasefire, supporting those folks who were waving those Palestinian and Hamas flags in D.C. and spray painting our statues. Listen, that's the difference in the candidates.
And some of those people she was supportive of, the White House's own spokesman admitted those were probably protests being funded by the Iranians.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, when you're flying a Hamas flag and you're saying Hamas is coming and you're here in America, I have to believe you're Hamas. I think you're a terrorist at that point. But I'm definitely not supporting you and supporting your policies, which is what Vice President Harris is doing right now. She is saying, ceasefire. We had a ceasefire on October 7th before Hamas slaughtered almost 3,000 people, men, women, and children, killed babies in front. Listen, Netanyahu did a wonderful job in delivering and just stating the facts the other day, as opposed to Kamala, who's falling in on all the, let's cease fire. They didn't mean to do that.
And I saw that she made some comments about her concern about civilian casualties, and obviously no one is supportive of civilian casualties, but she obscures the fact that Hamas deliberately uses civilians as shields so that these numbers will be inflated to inflame people who otherwise would be inclined to support Israel.
Yeah, and listen, and they ignore the fact that Hamas slaughtered 3,000 or 2,000, the number they slaughtered. That many innocent civilians, including chopping off babies' heads, burning babies alive, chopping off men's heads, killing parents in front of children, children in front of parents. They're the ones who killed innocent civilians. That is the genocide, not the opposite.
Amen. He really did do a great job. I thought it was telling that the vice president didn't show up to preside over the joint session.
Can you imagine if I had a debate here in Mississippi and I said, I've got to go meet with some of my old college fraternity. I'm too busy to be at something. And that's a debate. That's not with a national head leader who is engaged in a full-fledged war. Just think of the signal they sent. And their number two didn't come either. They sent Ben Cardin, who's a great guy. But they had to find somebody who's retiring to come. And listen, if you watch the speech, go back and watch it. They sit for most of the thing. They never stand up and clap. Listen, they are supportive of the policies of Hamas and Iran and the terrorists, not of America, not of Israel, not of law and order and justice.
And was it Rashida Tlaib who had the sort of protest sign she was holding up during the whole thing?
Absolutely. She should be censored, and hopefully someone will bring that to the floor for a censure. It's not the first time they're in trouble, but listen, and they had several that were wearing their T-shirts, and they got them out early. It was like 5, but listen, the response from the crowd there was overwhelming, other than those Democrats who sat over there and wouldn't clap and wouldn't stand up unless they said something about Biden.
Yeah, that's just extraordinary and extraordinarily disrespectful. I mean, even if you want to disagree with the policies, the decisions that the Prime Minister of Israel have made, you're a member of Congress and a foreign head of government is there. Complain to the press. Don't hold up signs and embarrass yourself. But I assume that's something they do just because, she's now getting talked about all over the country because she acted like a fool.
It is, and listen, and at the end of the day, one of the things we have to remember is this thing is about her passing the Inflation Creation Act, she being the deciding vote, and then Joe Biden put her in charge of the border in the spring of 21, and she has not been down there but once, and it was not like really to the border, not to the places. And she was in charge of the policies to stop the migration, and all it has done is gotten worse and worse and worse. And I just have to say you have to look at the results of what someone is charged with doing and how they've done it.
Well, and you're absolutely right. And during the time that the Biden-Harris administration's been in charge of the border, we've had more illegals come into the state, come into the country than the entire population of the state of Mississippi. It's absurd.
Absolutely. And, and I want to be real clear. I am for immigration. I am for legal immigration.
Absolutely.
Coming here the right way and doing it the right way.